conditioning the mind, body, and spirit. It takes practice, commitment, vision, goal setting, determination, sharp focus, respect, and discipline. Once you learn it, you can apply it to all aspects of your life. The warrior's mindset prepares you for the largest competition ever, the competition against self. It shows you how to solve all problems at hand, maintain focus and a peaceful state of mind. We live in a competitive society. We live in a society that right now is fighting back and recovering from COVID-19 and all of the other devastating things that has impacted all of our lives. But we will never quit. Quitting is not an option. So thank you for joining in to this Warriors Mindset broadcast so we can always find a solution on how to step up, flip the script, and be a success in our life, regardless of the obstacles that stand in front of us.
We want to welcome you to the Warriors Mindset. Willie the Bam Johnson's Warriors Mindset. It's about digging down inside, flipping the script, trying to find a way to take it to the next level. I don't care how low you are. I don't care what you got to do, but you got to stay positive. You got to give it everything that you got to reach the top. There is no quitting in the Warriors Mindset. I don't care what comes your way. We call it, sometimes my guests here always laugh and talk about the food stamp budget. That's right. Some people don't know about that, but I can take a food stamp and flip it and turn it into some dollar bills. And that's what it's all about. And then he happened to have a special guest on here. And I know this man knows about flipping the food stamps and turning it into some money. You know, but we talk about it, legal money, guys. Nothing illegal over here. We keeping it real. We know it's all about helping the kids, man, because that's why I created this show. My family created it because we want to change and inspire the next generation. If you ain't about the next generation, if you ain't trying to be a hero, you trying to be a zero, treating them like with no respect, I ain't got nothing to do with you. I ain't trying to have you on this show. As a matter of fact, I don't even know you exist. But if you for real about that, we here. So who I got right here? I got my man, a brother, you know, from my heart, man. You know, we talk, we hustle, we have some conversations where it ain't nothing about positivity and creativity and a positive hustle. We got Mr. Robert PAHAM. What's up with you, baby?
Hey, brother, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm a squirrel trying to follow you, brother. I ain't gonna say the other part, you know what I'm saying? What's happening with you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain.
Okay.
You know.
And you got your partner in crime here with you, Mr. Can you give my intro?
Let me give the intro to this man who is my brother, who I love tremendously, dearly. You may know him as a ghostwriter for Dr. Dre. He also has a dropping an album next week. The legendary Nocturnal, baby.
Yeah, boy. What's up with y'all? What you got going on today?
Well,
Having a
first
little
of all,
fun?
bro, it's an honor to have you here, man. You know,
It's an honor to be here. I'm glad you invited me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You know, how we not, if we got a chance to have a legend on a show, how we not going to be able, you know, reach out and get the man and say, man, hook a brother up.
That's right.
That's right. Get a legend in the house, man, to educate and inspire and motivate. I think the beautiful thing about this, man, before I hit the topic, is that for anybody that's listening to this show, I don't care how low you are. I don't care what somebody tell you about your dream, what you can't do and what you can achieve. Man, to even be in the presence of someone like you, someone like Robert, someone like Billy Blanks, all the things that happen for a little kid from the projects of Baltimore City, it's possible, man, if you hold on to that vision and that dream and don't let no haters, no perpetrators or instigators stand in your way. As a matter of fact, guys, how would you relate to that? How do you block those haters and perpetrators from stopping your dream?
You can't block what's the inevitable. What's going to happen is you always going to have positive and negative responses, but it just depends on how you react to them. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to pay attention to people that's being negative towards you. All you gotta do is just don't hang around them, or don't even respond to it. I mean, if you're not dealing with positivity in your life, why you still be around it? You might as well just get away from it. You know what I mean? Like, I got zero tolerance for BS. You know what I mean? I don't have no tolerance for that crap. You know what I mean? When people start acting funny with me, including anyone that, even if it's my family. If they start staying on negative still, I'm not gonna let them take me down because I have a successful career, and I'm not gonna sit here and let you lead me behind bars. I'm not gonna do it. So if you're in a negative vibe, I don't even want to hang around you. I got a career. Like, I got blessed. God blessed me with a career. Why would I want to hang around someone that is not gonna do nothing but take me down? My dad told me always, you hang around 9 people that's broke, you bound to be the 10th. You hang around 9 people that's rich, you bound to be the 10th. So you pick and choose what you want to do. You hang around 9 negative people, you're gonna be the 10th. You hang around 9 positive people, you're gonna be the 10th. It's the same thing, the same model.
Yes, sir. Mr. Robert, how you relate to that, baby? Independent King, the new Independent King.
A wise woman once told me, what people think of you is their business. So, right? So if whatever anybody thinks of you, whether it's positive, you bring the positive in because positivity uplifts us all. But if it's negative, then that's their problem. That's not your problem. You shouldn't have to gather that and carry that on your back.
That's something that they're dealing with.
Exactly. Stay in your lane and do what you do, and do what you do best, and spread the joy. So I don't let any positivity, and Knoc will tell you that. I don't let any negativity come my way. Everything is all about positive. We got one life here on this earth, and I'm gonna make the best of it,
And when I went down there to meet Mr. PAHAM for the first time, I didn't know he was that good of a dude. He's really actually an amazing dude. Like, it was just crazy. I was like, wow, this is a good guy right there. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Thanks, Knoc.
And that's what the Warriors mindset is. I mean, the truth of the matter is that I got to give the credit back to Champ Nichols, Damon John, speaking manager, who mentored me and was going through some things with me to try to take some things. And he said, "Bam, it's the Warriors mindset, brother. But you have to be a warrior to make it to that next level, because what you guys describing is that we got to stay laser beam focused. We got to keep the focus on the prize. We cannot be worried about those other things going on, and when we do that, we can achieve much success. I mean, and your own description, if we talking about, this warrior mindset, we all got to have moments that define us to say, hold up, man, after this, I'm going to make it through this, and I ain't going back no more. This is that one. If you could describe one moment in your life that said it all, man, forget it, I ain't going back. What would that moment be?
My wife.
Okay.
She cheated on me with my god brother. I ain't going back.
That's straight up right there, baby.
I guess for me,
she went from an icon hero on his way to be an icon hero to a zero. That's a block baby. That's her fault.
Yes, you can't get no realer than that, man.
I'm just being real as I can be.
I think that moment.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that moment for me, as I sit and reflect, probably happened right after I won the full contact, the Koshiki division at the USKA karate tournament. And you would look in the magazine and see guys like Billy Blanks, Bill Wallace, Willie Bam Johnson, all these guys you read about, Jerry Fontenez, and when I got that world title, I was like, I deserve to be here, and I'm not going back. There's no turning back now.
Well,
that was probably one of my defining moments.
Even though I hear you, Rob, I was joking earlier, but I was telling the truth. But at the same, it was a serious joke. But what I'm saying is, once I saw my name on the back of that Dre album for the Chronic 2, it was nothing else I could think of except go sit my butt in the car. He handed me one of the first copies. He added it when he got them. And so I went and sat my butt in my car, and I shed a tear or two. I didn't cry like a baby, but I was just like, wow, I'm officially here. That was like, it was amazing. Like I was writing for him for a long time and all kind of stuff. But when I finally saw the tangible product and it was in my hand, I was like, yeah, I'm not going back to the hood all the time. I mean, I go back there and chill, but I don't stay there long. You know what I mean? But the thing for me was once it was finally official, and I treated rap like I treated when I was out hustling on the block. I stayed in the studio, just like I would stay on the block. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go back to the block and do the hustling things that I was doing before. I wanted to stay in the studio and hustle that way. You know what I mean?
And that's true because
And I
you've been
feel,
in the studio for
I
the
mean,
last
I
2 or
mean,
3
look,
days.
look, I ain't lying. I'm in the studio right now. Look, say what's up, Ken.
hey,
This is the engineer. This is the studio. This is what we're doing. We working. Here's a vocal booth right here. I'm not playing. The vocal booth's right here. I live my life by what I choose to do. I don't sit there and act like I'm gonna do this. I don't fake people out. I don't even Robert would tell you when I was telling him we're gonna try to get this album out through Sony. When I was talking to him about it, I was calling Sony when I was sitting there at his house talking to him about it, and I got one of the guys from Sony on the phone, and he was like, "Whatever I want to do, we're gonna do it for the soundtrack that's coming out for Snow Black." You know what I mean? It was not a joke. It was a real situation. You know what I
but
mean? He gave me the opportunity to be in a movie, and he wrote. I was only supposed to be in one scene. He wrote me. He's fast. He wrote me three more scenes in the movie to make me pertinent in the movie, and then I put him on the phone with Sony, and then Lamar Lagarde Garrett was like, "Man, whatever I want to do, I mean, we're gonna do it. That's about it." And that's when Robert was like, "Man, I didn't know it was gonna go down like that."
you know what's so special here, man. You know, and I think you've seen the emails I sent you about kung fu hip hop and all those things. I think the beautiful the fusion that then just happened here. You know, music. I understand that moment, and I probably wasn't. I was being humble, but brother, your music, Dre music, KRS-One music. When I was lost and homeless and eating out the trash can, when I was locked down in a prison cell, it was poor righteous teachers and all those conscious songs, man, and that helped the brother realize that, man, I can get here. I got to take it to a whole new level. So the power of the music, the power of the culture, and that's why it's so important with martial arts, because I think sometimes we talk about that high level, but we don't live it. We lose the art for commercialism. The beautiful thing about the hip hop industry is that when we talk about our street art, you know, don't get me started, man, because that's all I represent, and you know that, Robert. I keep it on the
Facts.
down low, but that's my heart, man. You can't take that from me. Yeah, we understand the level of authenticity, and that's what I feel. Not when you come on here, yeah, man, keep it real, cause a kid, that's the only way we gonna change them kids. They can
Right,
smell the funk in the room, like, oh,
right,
what's that? What's that fake, baby? You smell the
right.
fake in the room. You know what I'm saying?
What did I smell? What does it smell? Yeah, I ain't gonna say.
Guys, tell me, in the world of corporate America, come on, the hustler the predator is worse in the corporate level than he is on the street. Talk to me.
Right, you're right. Cause when I was hustling, and you know, I come from Long Beach, the east side of Long Beach. When I was hustling, I used to think that I was doing the right thing by taking up for my people and all that, you know, and my family and all that. But I gained remorse later because I created a lot of hurt, and that makes me feel bad. You know what I mean? So it's like I gained the conscience. Obviously, I didn't pick up a Bible. I still got my Quran, but I'm just saying. I'm still a militant, and my dad is still a Black Panther. But what I'm saying is like I realized I'm 45, around by like 32, how wrong I was in my life, and so I started to change it, and I didn't want to go back to that whatsoever. You know what I mean? So like when I was with Dre, you know, and the Suge Knight beef and all that, I was like, man. And then you know, the Booyah tribe was trying to tell Suge Knight was trying to tell the Booyah tribe to attack me inside of a bowling alley called Jerry's Deli. It's got a bowling alley inside of it. And the Booyah tribe was like, "Do you not know who his dad is? We can't mess with him. His dad is a Black Panther. His dad is a Black Rag. He started East Side Pain in Wilmington. We can't mess with him." And she was like, "I told you." I tell Suge, like, if you keep telling him to get me, I got this pistol in my pocket. I'm gonna shoot you in the face first. And I said, "Oh my God, why am I doing this again?" I said, "Oh my God, see, this is why I had to stop even carrying a gun, because it's not even about that. It's about where your morals are and your respect for yourself. You know what I mean? If you know how to talk yourself out of a situation, then you should do that. It's just a whole bunch of words you could do to ask somebody, "Can you please just walk away and just leave me alone? I'll walk away. Can you please just leave me alone?" It don't have to be violence. You know what I mean? And I had to learn that in a way to where I actually beat 50 years with double life, and that's not cool. You know what I mean? And it just so happens that my grandpa was somebody of importance, and he got me out of that. But when he passed away, he said, Royal, my first name is Royal. He was like, "Please do me a favor." He was like, "This is the last thing I'll be able to do to you. I'm on my deathbed, so please try to stay out of trouble." And that's all I've been trying to do the whole time. It's not about being tough. That's not what life is about. It's about getting along with people and actually figuring out a way, if you are in a situation where somebody's bitter or whatever, trying to understand what they're going through, or trying to ask them questions about what's going on with them, that they got a problem with you because you don't have a problem with them. Instead of just invoking the problem and having the problem back of what they said, you might as well just try to diffuse the problem. You know what I mean? Because everybody's capable of being evil, and everybody's capable of murder. But how capable are you to be a good person instead of a bad one?
Robert, how you feed off of that, my brother?
Man, Knoc told me a story once where people were up in his face, challenging him, calling him all kind of names, names that I won't say over the air. And he's like, "Okay, I'll be this, I'll be that. Can I please go home?"
Right.
That's a man. That's what it takes to be a real man, and that's what it takes to be a real warrior. That's self-control, that's discipline, and that's peaceful. Because at the end of the day, you want to go home to your family. You don't want to go to jail. You definitely don't want to be in the hospital, and you definitely don't want to, leave here before your time.
Right.
So that's the warrior mindset right there. Not just encompass all of that. At the end of the day, can I please just go home? I'll be this, I'll be that. Because that shows that you don't have you're not controlled by your ego. No matter what your accomplishments are on this earth, whether you're a singer, a rapper, a musician, a martial artist, a fighter, whatever, your ego's where it's supposed to be.
And you know what's so powerful about that? I can relate to that, man, because when I got locked up and I was practicing martial arts, and you ain't supposed to have been practicing. And there was so many times, I'm working in the kitchen and the guy like, "Give me more potatoes." And that other side want to come out like, "Yo, who you talking to?" And then it was a guy, he was a prison guard who just turned his life around, and he was there by the grace of God to like help us. He's like, "Man, what you trying to do?" He said, "I thought you was trying to go home and get your son." He said, "So if you really trying to go home and get your son, go and apologize to them." And so I tell martial artists that they always talking about combat. They're talking about break a bone, hurt somebody. Man, in the hood, ain't no best man. You better watch your back. And I learned that by being able to walk through there and apologize to that cat. And you guys know what I'm saying.
Your own family will jack you.
Yeah. But you understand walking and having the humility to say, "Yo, I'm sorry." And he probably like say all those names and act like he all that. But when you walk through the yard and he look at you and give you a nod, we got respect. Ain't no more problems there. Because that's what
I leave you alone.
Right?
I leave you alone. You leave me alone.
That's it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something funny. When I went to the penitentiary, I did 4 years, 8 months, 12 days, and about 16 hours. And I'm gonna tell you something. I was only supposed to do 3 years, but you know I caught more time. And what I'm saying is that ain't cool. But the thing is that when I was there, I had to immediately ask where the Long Beach card is. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm bright skinny with good hair. So,
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna leave that one alone. We gotta say DJ, baby.
That's another
shout out to
show,
Long
guy.
Beach for holding me down always.
Hey,
Man,
hey,
so
hey, but look, before you go over there, I always tell my son that's why I got up early because I didn't want to go to the shower because I move by myself, so I don't want to go to the shower while everybody else there because somebody might drop the soap and say, "Shorty, can you get that soap?" So I gotta go by myself. You know what
they
I'm
don't
saying?
understand that. They don't understand. You gotta go to the shower where your crew go to the shower.
Yeah, you know, I ain't
You know what I mean?
put up in that one. You know what I'm saying?
Cause we gonna get out in the shower. You gotta go to the shower with your crew.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Hey, but look, the funniest thing is you said you was working. You know, I started off in the penitentiary working in the culinary, and then I ended up moving my way up to unloading the trucks with a pallet jack. I was getting $21 a month. Nobody needs to live like that.
Yeah, $1 a day, brother.
I was getting 20. I didn't even get $1 a day. I was the lead man doing the pallet jack, unloading trucks, and I got $21 a month.
Well, I got a
Don't
little
nobody
bit
need
more than you. I got $1, man.
well, yeah,
Well, I don't.
you in a different spot. Y'all price of living is higher than ours.
Not. I don't think he was. I don't think he was in the culinary long enough, though.
He said, "I don't know how
Man,
to watch business."
man, we got a
all we
story
had,
to tell
all
you.
we had is machines. All we had is machines. I didn't have to watch them. I just had to put them through the machine.
Now, I was manual labor, bro. I had to scrub it. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no machines. It was all hands.
Oh yeah, I had to. That's why I hate washing dishes. I had to scrub the pans and put them through the machines. I didn't like that. And I was like, and before, but I was doing that for like 2 years. But then when I got that pallet jack, when they unload the food, and I got the pallet jack, go to the truck and unload the food, bring it inside it. I was like, man, this is gravy. I'm gonna do the rest of my time. I'll be all right. I ain't gonna bother nobody. I got homies that I still know that was in there with me. It's like, man, why would you always be on one starting riots? But you know what I learned about different people? Everybody should be proud of their race. And only that, not only that, I think everybody is a racist because you proud of yourself and you proud of your race. And I used to sit down and play uh, chess with an Aryan brother. He was the lead of the Aryan brothers on the yard. And I used to bet him cases of soups, cans of tunas, and all that. And his own brother's like, why you keep letting this? You know what I'm gonna say over here. You know what I mean? But he would call me the N word. But he'd be like, because he's actually smart. And he was like, you know, and he don't come to the table with nothing. If he loses, he don't get mad about it or nothing. So like I would go to that table all the time, and you know, everybody be doing their own thing on the yard, whatever. But the craziest thing is nobody wants to go to the penitentiary. Please don't do that, young people. Like, please don't do nothing. Get yourself in a situation to where you go have the people have that much control over you, to where they tell you when to go to sleep, they tell you when to watch TV, they tell you when to eat, they tell you when to do everything. That is not cool. That's not a situation. Your freedom, excuse me, your freedom is way more important than going to do that. Seriously, because that was like a torture zone for me. I had to watch my back at all times.
And that's the thing,
And
Mr. Robert. I mean, I think sometimes we in martial arts, we teach these kids, we keep talking. I mean, I call it a false sense of security. When you got a person believing that they can kill this person, this technique you learn gonna be really deadly, and the guy that's teaching you never even really been. We talking about a real surprise attack, like in the hood. We ain't talking
Right,
about in the
right.
bar
In
having
a
a little bit
in
to
a
drink, and you know what I'm saying?
right
It's like,
in
when
a
they
in a
come over there
controlled,
ready,
Robert.
like you're in a controlled environment, and then
right,
if you mess up, you can start over.
Yeah.
It doesn't
right,
happen like that.
So
right.
why is it important for something like a conversation like this sort of realness for students and for kids and even instructors to put their egos to the side to understand these type of consequences, Robert?
It's important because, you know, in life we all make choices. Okay, I'm gonna give an example of a movie I did. I did a movie with Fred Williamson called Jackson Bolt. You know, and the lead character, Jackson Bolt, was going through a divorce, and he made some poor choices. Even though he was a cop, he made some poor choices about life that got him into trouble, that got him in and out of fights, and this, that, and the other. But had he sat down and had some inner resolve, I mean, the movie would have been boring, but the character would have led a more peaceful life. You know, we look at um, religious figures. We look at Jesus. We look at Muhammad. We look at Moses. We look at Noah. We look at civil rights leaders. We look at Martin. We look at Malcolm. We look at Marcus Garvey. We look at W.E.B. Du Bois. We look at some of the quote unquote famous presidents: Kennedy, Roosevelt, Obama, and all of these men. And I'm not just saying it's just men, it's women too, but they have inner resolve in a sense that they're peaceful. They attract peace and they propagate peace, you know. And even though people, you know, have their opinions of some of the characters, some of the people that I explained, at the end of the day, they propagated peace. They brought people together, and they brought people together for a positive thing. You
Well,
know, they didn't
that's what
bring, yeah, they didn't bring people together to crash the Capitol and things like that. You know.
that's what peace is about. You got to be an advocate for peace. You got to learn how to, like, when somebody got a problem, you don't know what kind of day they had.
Yeah.
You got to look at the other side of the coin. Think upon the things for others. You got to look at, you know, you don't know what kind of day this fool has had. So you don't want them tripping on you, and you don't even know this guy. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, the thing being is, you see somebody with a bad attitude, you don't even bother them. You know, you be like, "How you doing?" They not good. You go, okay, my bad. Like, you can't you can't just
Especially in the hood, baby. Yeah, everybody, yeah, you know.
Sorry for
Yeah,
asking you that question. I didn't mean to ask you that. My bad.
but and that's interesting because when I talk, I want it to be real. When I teach my students, I want it to be real. I want people, you know, I try to get people to understand that if it was a fight going on and you had a guy like my dad from the hood who came up in the era where he don't know nothing about no karate, he don't care nothing about no black belts. As a matter of fact, my dad would say, "Go ahead, kick, boy." He 89 years. He said, "Throw that kick. I bet you when they come back, you're gonna have a toe missing." That's a whole other story. That's a
Hey,
whole other. Y'all know
he
what
gonna
that's
fight
like
you.
right there,
That's
bro. He like, go.
that's my dad. That's my dad. You know who my father is? Yeah, you gonna laugh at this one. My father's Willie Dynamite.
Stop playing.
No, I'm not playing. It's the
The
truth.
movie was based upon your dad.
Yes, two of them. They had a documentary and a movie.
Uh.
My father's Willie Dynamite. I ain't even lying to you. Yeah, so I was ready. I can't even tell you what he told me on my 13th birthday.
Yeah, I gotta keep it PG. Oh, you only work. Look, I can't even take my kids around my dad, man, because my dad just a little brutal, bro. You know, he ain't good morning. You know what I'm saying? It ain't good. It's always some type of explicit content connected to the
Hey,
conversation. You know what I'm saying? But
my dad had a band inside of the garage when I was growing up. And he didn't mind me messing with the drums or whatever, and I messed with the guitars. I played the French horn. I was dragging the cello home with my skinny butt, and I played the piano. But the thing being is, he didn't mind me going in the garage and listen to the band, had me try to play the drums. But the funniest thing ever is Motown wanted to sign him, and he didn't sign because they didn't want the band; they just wanted him. So the motivation for the children is, I went and I did what my dad told me to do. My dad said, if they want to sign you, son, they don't want to sign the whole group, go get the deal and then go back and get your group. after you get the money.
Yeah.
You hear me? And that's what I did.
Robert,
And my career has been okay, and everything is all right. Like even right now, I'm sitting there. I found a whole nother camp. It's Ken, it's Q. Who else? Q? Who else? Ken? Ken Q. I said, who else is the camp? Who else is the camp? Is you? Is Ken? Ken Dog is Q. Who else? Mike. His brother Mike. Who else? His brother Anthony. He make beats. Like I found a whole new camp. Is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you know what I mean? We've been doing this for the last what a month and a half, and we almost done with Mr. Parham's next soundtrack. We've been on it. You know what I mean? And that's how positivity is. You want to stay out of trouble, find something that's gonna keep you out of trouble. You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of invite you into problems.
and Robert, what was it like? I mean, we talk about my dad with the, he always got that. Come on, boy, kick it. What was it like? I mean, what was, because a dad is important in the family. You know what I'm
Let me
saying?
tell you, man. Our fathers, I think, I'm not saying that we're less men than they were, but our fathers, that
Hard to
generation,
pay.
they were real men. Okay, they were
Hard to pay.
men. All right.
Hard
So
to
my
pay.
dad studied martial arts. He studied martial arts on the Sidney Austin and worked out with Prentice Newton and guys of that ilk. Very strict. He's a very strict disciplinarian. He's the how I think my dad had like 15 or 16 brothers and sisters. He was in and out of trouble growing up and this, that, and the other. And he turned his life around. Something happened in his life that turned him around. And he raised a family. He wanted to make sure that his sons didn't grow up like he did. So he became a very educated man. He's a CPA. He holds different insurance licenses. He's in law school right now. 70, my dad, 74, 70, 74, still going to law school. But he instilled in us uh, a discipline to have a laser focus, get what you need to get out of this life without hurting anybody, without stepping on people's toes, and to have good conduct. Big for my father. Big for. I mean, he was strict. I had friends. I had like 2 or 3 best friends that came over the house. Most of my friends would call me from up the street and ask me if I can come out and play because they want to have any kind of interaction with my father. Your father's mean, man. They want none of that.
My father had me. Hey, Rob, my father had me go and try to beat up a midget at 9 years old.
All of our fathers must be related, man.
Because he said, I ain't gonna use no cuss words, but he said, if you get beat up by that midget, will you get back up here and whoop your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, and so in the midget, I didn't know midgets was that strong. The little people strong. The little people strong as hell.
Hey, I know, brother. Look.
Hey, but no, what I'm saying is, when he told me if I get my butt whooped, if I get back upstairs, he gonna beat me. I found a chili brick and started beating that.
Hey, I think man, y'all got these topics is coming. That's why I got to stay on script, Robert. And you like, man, brother, let's just flow with it. See what happens. But
yeah,
it was so beautiful, man. When you brought that up, I never would fight back. I just love people. I don't want to fight. So I would always get beat up. And every time I came home not fighting back, my dad would beat me up. He said, "You don't want to fight them back?"
Yeah.
He said,
"You got beat
me up, brother." He said,
"Now fight me back. Now fight me back."
Yeah, that's what he said. He was saying, and my dad and my sister.
You know what he was teaching you? But you know what he was teaching you? Never be scared of somebody bigger than you.
Well, brother, after a while, it was him, my sister. And I tell people this true story. I didn't learn how to fight martial arts because I fought other people. It was my dad and my sister. And my sister said, until you fight back, you won't get beat up by me every day. And one was
Yeah.
going to the store. Two cats tried to take back then. You know it coins like 25 cent, 50 cent meant a lot
Right.
back then
Right.
during our time. You could go to a movie for 50 cent back then, brother. Y'all
Right,
remember them
right,
days?
right, right.
You
Well,
could
when y'all entered, it was $1.25 in my day.
say $1 what?
I said it was $1.25 in my day. Y'all entered.
Well, I guess I'm a little older, brother, because I
You
remember the
still
50
you
cent
still
one.
look good. You still look great. You still look great for your age.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
So what you about 110 right now?
God, yeah, see, all right. So look, so I had to fight these guys, man, and I beat both of them up. After that, it was on. You ain't mess with. You know how it is. Once you get the juice, ain't no going back, bro. Let's go, man. It was a
Right,
point of no return, man. So when they
right.
talking about this term bullying, I'm like, stop labeling. It's a part of growing up.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You have
Absolutely.
miscommunication, and you gotta stand up. Ain't no like, well, Johnny, don't hit me. Well, Johnny, I don't want no trouble. That ain't it. That don't
Mm-mm.
work. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
Hey, I
it
beat.
lets you know
Okay.
who you are on the social ladder,
That's right.
really. So you have to make adjustments to your life, because you know that you're not, maybe you don't have as much, or maybe you're not as insecure as this guy who's bullying
Right,
everybody.
right.
So you just, let you know where you fit on the social ladder. Most of those
Well,
guys who are
my
bullies in high school, you
yeah,
know, they're not doing well nowadays. It's like
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
But my dumb butt in elementary when they still had the sand pit on the hang bars as you go across. The bully came and grabbed me and slammed me into the sand at the elementary school in Long Beach, and I jumped up through sand straight in his eyes and beat him up. And everybody was like, "Oh, you're blessed!" And I started charging him for walking him home.
yeah. Hey, don't we all have stories like that, man? We found a way to flip the script some kind of way to
That,
get a little
that's
hustle
where
going on.
that's where the hustle started.
That's right. Oh man. But I know people gonna want to know, man, because yeah, brother, we can sit here and go, that's the beauty. What people miss, I think, the problem why people complaining and scared during COVID, and I'm not saying it don't we not aware of what's going on, but man, we get one life. We got to sit down and have a joyful time like we doing right now. I don't think I ever called Robert and we started a conversation. Well, how your day, Robert? I mean, is COVID like, you know, we start off like talking about what we doing, man. What we going to do next, man. Am I right, Robert?
You're right. You're right. COVID is unfortunate, but I think if you know how to take advantage of a situation like this, where
Yeah,
most people aren't doing anything, most people are locked down, most people are depressed and this, that, and the other, it gives us an opportunity to grow.
yeah,
Because
Right,
you can see opportunities that weren't there before. Now your eyes are open more. You
mm-hmm.
know,
right.
hey, well, we did this during COVID. We can't do this now. So let's do this.
Yeah,
You become
Oh,
a
yeah.
greater problem solver.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I got, um, I'm shooting this movie right now called, Man is Hell. Knock is almost finished with the soundtrack. I'm not even finished with the movie.
Yeah,
You
Right.
know?
yeah.
That's true.
And I
And
just
even
sent
the
you
stuff,
another movie script.
yeah, and the stuff that you and I are doing, you know, we grinding. This is the perfect opportunity to enrich yourself, to enrich your knowledge, and to own your craft. The
Yeah.
perfect opportunity. I don't understand why people don't see that.
Hey, not. I mean, but it reminds you of like being in the hood. Anybody that's a hustler ain't never sitting down. It's like, yo, walk with me, bro. I ain't got no time. I'm trying. What? We ain't
Man,
right. Talk to me,
man,
man.
it's like who turn is it? Yeah, is it my turn yet? You got to sit there all day, all night until
yeah,
you get that off.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
who turn is it, man? That's all you can do. You know what I mean?
And I
And
think the world
gracefully,
needs to. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Nah, I'm sorry.
I was saying gracefully, I never got caught up for a drug charge, and I got blessed with I guess we're going to the pen for some. Me and my wife was doing some robbing banks type stuff. We went to the same bank 3 times, got caught up. But the whole point being is when I got out, I got introduced to Mark Sparks, which is um he did the Roots and he did a lot of he released Sunshine, he released Anthony Hamilton, but I didn't fit into his program for his type of beats, so he sold me to Dre, and Dre was wanted to sign me, and I didn't sign to Dre. I was like, no, how many artists you got? He was like, oh, about 250. I was like, I don't want to be 251, man. I want to sit on the shelf. I was like, help me start my own record label. He was like, you're a smart man, and so he helped me start LA Confidential. You know what I mean? So that was like a very life-changing experience in my life to where I really just wanted my own craft and to be my own self, you know? And so that's why I'm really serious about when people ask me to do something about music or anything, I keep like I just sent Rob some more songs yesterday. I hope he heard them. I probably didn't even listen to them. He'd be so busy. He'd be so busy, he probably didn't even hear him yet. I sent him some more
it's
songs
it's look, it's on my schedule right here. Where's it at?
there.
Right here. It's on my schedule right here at 1 o'clock to
Oh, you
listen
got a
to
1 o'clock schedule?
it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got your schedule list. No, but I did send you some more songs because the album is almost complete.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We got the
See,
first soundtrack through Sony Red, and they're gonna accept it through Mayhem Films. And we're
and
gonna
and and
register it
and
through
Bam,
ASCAP.
while we're here on this subject, Bam, and I know that we digress, but let's talk about this soundtrack. Is that cool?
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about it.
Nah, tell them about the Snow Black soundtrack, brother.
Because we're gonna do a
Still
soundtrack
Black
to this movie.
soundtrack is I wouldn't say impeccable. It's a brilliant word, but it has a lot of good people with a lot of good features on it. It's got Warren G. It's got a beat from Warren G. It's got uh, a lot of Nocturnal. It's got
Too
it's
sweet.
got it's got Too Sweet on there. She's an up and coming artist. She do reggaeton. It's got Slip
Tupac.
Capone. Slip Capone, rest in peace. It's got Tupac on there. A song that I did from him. And I don't know if y'all think he did, but he really not. He just got a facelift. But anyway, it's not illegal in California to kill yourself. But you can kill your rap name. You don't have to worry about it. But anyway, the craziest part about the Still Black soundtrack is I had to dig into my files and give him a really good soundtrack. And I did the Watch soundtrack, so I know how to do soundtracks. Like, and Robert gave me the opportunity to actually revise myself, but be in movies as well. Cause I was really at the point where I didn't even want to rap no more. I was like, you know what? I'll go get a job. I got a degree in business. I'll go find a desk job or something. But he gave me opportunity to have a spark again because this soundtrack it's gonna hit. It's gonna be good, and I got distribution for the rest of my life because I didn't take the advance. All I did was told him I want an 80-20 split my way, and I didn't take any money. So I got distribution for the rest of my life. That's what they told Rob when I got him on the phone with Sony. It was like, man, we'll do whatever Knoc wants us to do. We remember when I called him, Rob, and I
Hmm.
said, "Am I fired yet?" He said, "Come on, man. You know we can't fire you. You don't owe us no money when we do our audit every year. We can't."
So
He
Bam,
said,
that
"You know we
story.
can't fire you, huh?"
So Bam, that story, Bam, goes to show us as a people and the youth that you have to own what you create. You have to be smart in business. You have
Right.
to make sure that you're the one in control of your career.
Cultivate your own craft. Like
Exactly.
when you find something you're good at, stick to it. Don't give up on yourself.
Well,
And I don't give up on me. Robert don't give up on him, and he don't give up on him either. I'm saying only way that I made it is that it's through the grace of God first and foremost. Let's keep that in mind. But I stay out of the way of BS. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I try my best to not involve myself in BS. And if I see BS, I'm trying to leave and walk away from it. You know what I mean? It's not about being the tough guy or whatever. I've been that before. That doesn't work out too well. I always end up waking up in jail and ask, Deputy, what did I do? I don't got my paperwork. What happened? And then I visited my lawyer one day, and it was Ducati out there and a brand new Hummer. I was like, oh, I like your Ducati Hummer. He was like, oh, that's my son's Ducati, and that's my Hummer. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, but you don't know you paid for it. I said, what?
but you know, I think the two things that you hit on it, and we can't wait for the soundtrack. We can't wait to see what we can do to push it and get it to the people. Y'all know all I do is train and push. I mean, we do our little music thing too. But I think the beautiful thing that you said, one of the things that I see in martial arts and I see in business, especially when you talk about people with egos, the younger kids sometimes get lost. And I'm really speaking about martial arts because I done ran schools since I started my first business at 17. And sometimes when you grow up wanting to show respect and be polite, you know, especially
Right.
in the martial arts, it's this code where don't disrespect the teacher. You know, if the teacher say work and you work for a month and you don't get paid, you out of respect, you don't want to ask him because you were raised to believe that nobody would do that to you. Are y'all following?
Right.
You were raised to not have to ask because good people don't take from you. Good people don't take advantage of you. They might say, ride with me right now until I can get a little bit more. But you know, and this comes from the street. If you ride with them when they do get it, how it used to be, they gonna look out for you. But what we realize with youth now, these manipulators, these guys play on their intelligence, play on their talents, and take advantage of them and destroy their passion. That a kid wakes up one day and say, I don't want to do this, I'm gonna go get a job at Burger King. Or I'm gonna go rob a bank. Why is it so important? And I'm saying this to any adult that's listening to this show. Why is it important for them to wake up, man? You know what I'm saying? And recognize, hold up, man, how can you even call yourself a man, a master, or a leader if you taking advantage of people?
You know what? When I had my daughter, I didn't live for me anymore.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And then God blessed me with a son. I don't live for me. I bought for her 19th Christmas present, my daughter, I gave her the money to buy some Acura. And my son, all he wanted was a PS5 and some clothes. And I did that. People don't understand the importance of children. That is the future of you. My Junebug, he don't ask for much. So when he asks me for something, I give it to him. I don't sit there and I just ask him what do you want. You know what I mean? And we all know that Saint Nick was the Grand Dragon for the KKK, but I'm just saying.
It's a different show, Knoc.
Yeah, he joking,
show,
y'all.
Knoc.
He joking, y'all. That's not, that's hip hop, baby. Sometimes we slip up on the beat a little bit. Skirt. That's a piece of the scratch.
Yeah, it's all good.
But Robert, on a scratch note, baby, why do you do
He
this?
got it. Yeah, baby.
I got it. Look, I got this one. I know you was, look, I know you mailed another one, but I didn't want to say nothing because I wanted to get the second one too. You know what I'm saying? I got
Did you listen to it?
Over here and say, when you say, bro, did you get it? Nah, I ain't get it. Where's it?
Right. Hell no. Give me another one. I might lose this one.
I got it. Why do you
Blood the soundtrack.
Well, I ain't get a copy of that.
Uh-oh.
I'm waiting for that.
Listen. I make sure you get one, Bam, today. But listen to the songs as the music plays. You know, listen to the songs as the music plays, and think about all of the hard work and dedication that Nocturnal put into that.
Right. Okay. All right. And what about what is your why? Because that's what Knoc just said. He said what his why and his
Here,
purpose is. What is your
here,
purpose and your why?
here's my purpose. My purpose is to, in my career, is to entertain, but as a man, is to educate.
Right.
Because people nowadays, we don't read. People don't read. If you
Hey,
don't
right,
read,
right. Not to cut you
you
off.
get it.
I got the educator right here. This is the guy that you picked 4 songs from. Say hi, Q.
Oh yeah. What's going on?
Hey,
Up,
brother,
brother?
what's going on?
What's going on? You the
So,
martial artist, right?
I'm all
yeah,
right. I'm all right.
Yeah,
I
me
know a
too.
little something.
Man, too close to my
but
head
but
now.
but
It's
Bam,
not. It's not.
continuing. People don't read, and if you don't read, you get taken advantage of because you don't know. You think you know, but you don't, and that
Well, you.
becomes a mental enslavement. And when you're mentally enslaved, it's a wrap for you. It's a, and you that's something that people will pass down to their children, their generations, their brothers, their sisters, etc., and so forth. So at the end of the day, pick up a book and know what you're talking about. At the end of the day,
And not just a book. It depends on what you picking up too, though, because you can get some misinformation too.
that's true. That's true. That's true. And I'm one to believe that you should read everything. You should read stuff you like and
Right.
stuff you don't like, so you know why you don't like it. You
That's
know
true.
Even read Satan book
I don't know
and see
go
what
that
happens.
far now.
exactly.
I'm telling you, I'll read the book of good and evil.
Hmm.
Just
So
to
because you
see.
got to be informed, you got to know.
Yeah, you gotta know to the way to knowledge is to know what somebody's talking about.
Hmm.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about this whole conversation. I know it's flowing, and I love for it to be real like this because that's what I want. I think people need that. They can feel the positive energy. They know this is coming from the heart and the soul. And they even know your guys' purpose. I mean, I love the term KRS-One edutainment. The summer that's what is one of his CDs was edutainment. And I think that's what we're talking about. That's what I feel like we all are trying to do. We're trying to edutain the next generation, be it through martial arts, be it through fashion, be it through music, be it through movies, be it through whatever portal there may be. But we do have to educate ourselves. And like you said, when you talk about reading, I don't my information comes from books, not from social media. I think the
Right.
problem with our youth, they it is a funny little thing. When I got in trouble, I got kicked out of the spiritual place I was at because I asked the person, can I read that same book and get my interpretation of it rather than me living off of your interpretation? And
Right.
a
Right.
lot of times we are left in darkness because somebody else say, this is what it says, and they want you to believe their interpretation, and
Right.
Hmm.
and we give up. We just succumb to that demand, and we just accept what they say until we willing to fight to say, hold up, I'm gonna find a way to see, because I ain't see it like you see it.
Hmm.
Let me read
Well,
and see how I feel, because we all got to get our own interpretation. That's
yeah,
what expression is.
and knowing is half the battle,
Yeah,
and seeing things the way you interpret them is half of how you're gonna live because now you informed about something that you don't know. A lot of people don't want to be informed about what they living or what they doing. You understand what I'm saying? They don't even know why they living. They don't know a reason for living. They don't know the circumference of what's really going on and what's going on. And the crazy part about it is, if you just take a time to look in the mirror and deal with yourself, you wouldn't complain about nobody else.
hey, brother.
Hmm.
What better
Hmm.
way as we bring this to the close? But I want to hit something before we close. But what better way? Because that's what the brother told me when I was in trouble. He said, "Bam, until you learn to love yourself, you can't love nobody else. Until you learn."
Right.
And the great Grandmaster June Reed said, "The man in the mirror is a hell of a poem about the man in the mirror. Until you can
Right.
look at that man in the mirror and love him
Right.
and respect him, you can't even talk about respect of someone
Not
else."
at all.
And that's what martial arts is, isn't it? Beat the enemy inside. Beat him
Right.
right here. It ain't no
Right.
battle out there. You
Right.
win this battle, you can deal with all those
The
battles.
battle is
Talk to me.
within. The battle is within.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Robert,
That's right.
from a
That's
martial
right.
arts standpoint, talk to me, baby.
Hey, man, I don't think I can say it any more eloquently than you guys have said it. You know?
So, Knoc, Mr. Knoc,
Yes.
we know the kids want to know, because you know they love the bling. When they think of Dre and they think of Snoop and they think of M, all they think they had is false. Even when you talk about Suge Knight, they still think, oh man, whoa, I want to be like that. What was that experience like on a positive level, and how did it snap you up to become a realer, more conscious man to make sure you know the right way to go about business?
It made me want to have a child because I finally feel like I was there to where I could take care of her. Any child, my daughter, that's why I said I had my daughter first. God gave me a daughter first to make me feel like, dang, this is how I'm treating my wife. Like, I gotta stop treating her like this. How would you feel like if somebody treated your daughter like this? Like, so when I had a child, even the whole experience, like I didn't expect to have a child, but when I had the child, when I had my daughter, her name is Amina, it changes the way that I treated my wife. It changed the way, and you know, it didn't mean that it changed the way she treated me. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the good part about life is learning things as you move on. As long as you suck God's air, you're always able to learn. You know, my son, he's 16. I'm 6'2", he's 6'3". Like the craziest thing is like I just believe that there's a lot of things in life that people have to learn, but you don't have to learn them the hard way. If they're willing to listen, like my son listens. You know what I mean? My daughter, sometimes she don't listen. She learns her things her hard way. So that's my personality though. And my son, my other personality, he's a Cancer. He tries his best to listen, and he doesn't talk much. But if he want to mess you up, he gonna ask you one thing. He gonna be like, "Are you sure you really want to do this right now?" And if you keep on talking, he gonna do what he do. But violence is not the key. But he gonna try to opt out. That's another part of my personality. Because you ain't gonna try to keep on with it. And me as a person, I've grown to learn how to keep good people around me. And which Robert, he's a great person. I don't ever want to lose his friendship. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's certain people, friendship, a real friendship, like a real good friendship is hard to find. And Robert is a good dude. You hear me? Like, he's not a bad person whatsoever. I guarantee you one thing, I wouldn't have to worry about nothing if anything happened. He'd just be like, man, come on, let's go. And that's what we would do. I'd be like, all right. He'd be like, hey, man, all he'll do is tap me on the shoulder and be like, hey, man, you got to argue with this dude. Let's go. And I'm going to turn and look at him and be like, all right, let's go. Even though somebody could be like, oh, a bunch of words, or I don't care. But if you tell me, come on, if you stop me, which I usually stop myself, but if you stop me because I'm going too far, you just be like, hey, man, let's go. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to create violence and end up in jail over some dumb crap. Because not only do I got my life at stake, I got his life at stake because he's with me.
Right.
If I get jumped, it's not like he's not going to help me. So I might as well not even enter into that field. You know what I mean? I might as well stay away from the bull crap. And all I can tell these young people is stop thinking life is with violence. Go get an education, go to college, and do what you got to do instead of like just thinking life is just all about who said what. That's not what life is about. Life is about what can you do for yourself. That's what it's about. And how can you maintain yourself? How can you create something for yourself so you can be a better person in this world and not one of these evil people that just walk around looking for everything and don't want to do nothing. And that's horrible. That's a horrible way to think. You got to go do something about yourself. Just like you, Willie, you did something for yourself. Robert, you did something for yourself. I did something for myself. That's why we're on this call. We all have done something. We progressed. And it's not, and for y'all and for me, well, you guys more than me. It was more blood, sweat, and tears than me. I had to wait. I had to work. I had to work smarter, not harder. I just had to get in the vocal booth and use the microphone as my punching bag. You guys have blood, sweat, and tears for real.
Yeah, that's right. But hey, bro, rhyming all those hours, that's a lot, man. You be put up a sweat in that booth like that, man.
Ron was beating people up in 1997 and whipping somebody real good.
But look,
I saw the fight.
It was something
I
you
looked at the
said.
fight.
It was something you said, Knoc, and when you were saying about when you had your kid and you realized that you changed, but your maybe your wife didn't change. But we as men, to like add to that, when and this is what I learned.
Yeah.
We get what we put out. So a lot of times a man, he go out and he do some dirt. And now when the dirt come back to him, he don't look and realize that, hold up, maybe I'm being treated like that because like you said, when you was lost, you was treating them with no respect.
Oh, absolutely.
So, right? So
absolutely.
how important for a
I'm
young
not gonna
man
lie
to know?
about it. I was wrong first.
Right. And that's what these young boys need to know because I believe that, and then you brought
I am the one that created the distrust. I lost the trust. It was my fault. That's why that situation happened. When you lose trust with a woman, you never get it back.
Right. Right. How important
I'm just being real about it. I'm not acting like I'm a saint. I'm not Saint John and she's not Mother Mary.
Yeah. And Robert, how important is that? How important is it for men to learn how to respect women again in closing, brother?
In closing, it's, when you look at your mother, your grandmother, if you're fortunate enough to know your great grandmother, if you've got daughters, if you got sisters, you cannot imagine them in trouble. You can't imagine them getting mugged. You can't imagine them getting raped. You can't imagine them getting robbed. So if you can't imagine that for your relatives and those who are in your bloodline, why would you do it to someone else? Someone else's daughter, someone else's mother, because you think they're weak prey, it's unfortunate. Like I told you, my dad said, one of the important aspects of life is good conduct. So if you conduct yourself accordingly, you shouldn't be doing that to women, in general. Not mention, people close to you, but women in general. It's and I'm not saying that I'm a saint. I've had some things in the past that, I'm going to have to answer for. But I've learned from that. I've definitely learned from that.
But I hate to cut you off, Rob, but can I tell you something? When you cheat on a woman, she feels like she's raped.
Facts.
She feels like she's raped with trust and all eligibility. She feel like you're not gonna take care of her like you should. You're not gonna do what you're supposed to do because you broke that trust bond. Facts. So when you cheat on a woman and she finds out about it, and even if the other chick says, "Yeah, he told me he was married," so what? They don't. My wife went and beat a chick up at her own house. She said, "You better take me to the house right now."
Facts. And then you gotta
trust. It's over with.
You just gotta have good conduct, And on the flip side too, what happens if you run up on somebody that you don't know and you try to offend them? Somebody like Cynthia Rothrock, somebody like Chevelia Aaron, somebody like Linda Denley, Yeah. So good conduct is what it's all about, man. It's about good conduct and respect.
And I want to jump on here and chime in real quick because you guys were touching on a lot of good key points when it comes to respecting women. Oh, and by the way, brother Q Ali Bay here, more Science Temple of America, Islam. Oh yeah, and also you wanted me to remind that y'all picked 4 of my songs, so thank you, appreciate it, gratitude. Okay, but I wanted to bring this up. Remember, our situation is cultural. We lack the knowledge of who we are. Therefore, we're just piggybacking off of what the occupational government or what the the slave master has been teaching us throughout generations. So therefore, we're basically just you're seeing behaviors from And when I say behavior, I'm saying it's not natural behaviors, but it's still monkey see, monkey do. You know what I mean? You turn on that TV and they're teaching you to downgrade women. They're teaching you to downgrade yourself. And when you look at your brother and you look at your sister, is to frown and be negative towards instead of embracing them and showing that positivity. Remember, not too long ago, during the civil rights era, we knew who the enemy was. So the family aspect was still there. The mother and the father was still there. The children, the household was still intact. Even though we may not have had much. I mean, you look at the size of the family back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. You had mom, dad, uncle, cousins. You know what I mean? Everybody still was with one another. You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So my point is that we've lost that as a community, and the more mainstream keeps trying to divide us, divide and conquer, and sad to say, kill us off, our mindset ain't gonna be there. We don't have our mind. We don't know who we are. So that's why we're continuously going down the path that we're going. We need to remember who we are, unite as one people, and get back to that family-oriented situation so that we can cut our grass and we know who the enemy is. That's what we need to do. But other than that, Islam, peace and love, you guys.
And I think in close, the one thing that's important about the martial arts, the dojo has always been a sacred place. You could be a killer and walk in the dojo and say, hold up, don't I have to take my shoes off and don't I have to bow? I was blessed to go to China in 1985 and realize that I was treated like a king for who I was and what I expressed. So when I came back and everybody was talking a lot of other stuff, I said, hold up. They didn't treat me like that when I was in mainland China in 1985 and one of the first blacks to ever train in mainland China. I think the beautiful thing, because I understand the universal understanding of what goes beyond color, race, and creed. I understand that at the bottom of all of us, and that's the beautiful thing about real martial arts. We are all a human being. When you spawn with that guy in the ring, color and none of that matters. What matters is that he's trying to knock your head off. And the true spirit of a warrior realized that, oh, if he beat me, I'm gonna bow to him and I'm gonna come back the next day. I think, and the beautiful thing about a real dojo, none of that crap that we see in the world exists. That's why a kid can come to our dojo and none of that stuff matters. Whatever was happening this week, when I went home and turned on my Zoom, there had to be well over 20 kids on Zoom ready to do what? Take class. Because, and they were of all color, race, and creeds. When we understand who we are as a human being and those principles and values, all that other stuff don't matter because we walk with a light and a strength, man. And that's the beautiful thing about real martial arts. The dojo is that. The dojo allows us to exhibit that and demonstrate that. And that's what the Warriors mindset is, man. So for everybody that tunes in and support this show, for everybody that comes in, and I think, Robert, brother, I mean, from the time I talked to you and said, man, can we do something together? You said, sure, Bam. And I know you said we competed together and I don't even remember it, man, but I remember this. I remember this brotherhood. I remember this fellowship. And that's what
counts.
Say that. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
I said that's what counts.
That's what counts, and that's what we doing. The fellowship for the next generation, and that's where everybody. When you tune into this show, it ain't gonna be no explicit stuff. It ain't gonna be none of that other stuff because I can go on the street and do that. I always say when I'm in business meetings, people are like, man, won't you get real raw? Man, I used to do that. It's easy to do that. What I want to do, I want my son to realize that.
Mr. Johnson.
Say that one more time.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do? When I finally meet you, I'm gonna slap you upside the back of your greasy head and take off running.
Oh, brother, we don't play that in the hood. We don't be touching the head, brother. You know what I'm saying? But I love you, man, and I thank you guys. Robert, it's an honor one with you, but not honestly, brother. It's an honor, man.
Baby boy on here.
Say that one more time.
We got baby boy on here.
I ain't got no baby old boy. It's how we roll, baby. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say that. Let me end this, man. You get it. I love y'all, man. Have a great week.
Oh, we love you too, man.
Brother.
What we got? Snow Black? What's Snow Black? Where do we find Snow Black?
You'll be able to find Snow Black everywhere on Tuesday. Fandango, Amazon, Tubi TV, Maverick TV, Crackle, Zumo, and
Ah,
other streaming places. So make sure you get Snow Black, and make sure you download the album Nocturnal Presents Snow Black on every streaming thing that you can download music on.
Jeez,
Oh,
bro,
no.
you touching everything. Don't you have a documentary coming
Not-
out too?
Yep.
Uh,
Nocturnal presents D's.
No, Robert got a documentary coming out. Don't you, Doc? Don't you, Rob?
I got a documentary coming out that I did on Willie
Oh,
the
yeah,
Bam
he has another
Johnson.
movie.
I don't have
He
the
has
date
another-
though. I don't
he
have
has
the
another
release
movie.
date. I don't have
Okay,
the
what's
release
the other
date
movie?
for the documentary.
What's the other movie?
Oh, and well, let me talk about the documentary first. We got a documentary on Willie the Bam Johnson that follows his struggles from before people knew who he was until the great man he is today. Okay, so we got the documentary coming out.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
Look, Knoc be thinking he in the studio, right? Knoc be thinking that he with Dre and them and they making a mixtape. Hey, come on in, Bam. Come on in, Dre. Come on in. You know what I'm saying? He think he in the studio, man.
Knoc is I love Knoc. I love you, brother.
I love you too, sir.
Man, and you know, Bam, I love you. That's something that we as men we don't say enough of to each other. I think because we have to know where we stand, who we are, and how we forge our brotherships.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure working with you guys always. And Bam, I know you got to cut this short, so I'm gonna cut mine short.
Real fast.
I always come from a situation of brothership because I was raised by Black Panthers. So I never not like my brother. That's not me. I love my brother always. That's the way I was raised. We're not gonna talk about anything else.